Hi, Steve here from Property Hive. In this video, we're going to look at contacts. So we've gone through properties in a previous video. This time we're going to be using or looking at contacts. Now, contacts can be accessed like anything else under the Property Hive menu. And you'll notice we've got three types of contact: owners and landlords, applicants, and third-party contacts. So the first thing to note is that a person or contact can exist in one or more of these categories. So someone might be buying and selling a house, in which case they would be in the owner section and the applicant section. You can also have multiple, someone can have multiple of these against their profile. So someone could have two sales profiles. So they're looking for two different types of property. And you'll see this in more detail in a second. So let's click into applicants to see what we get. So the first thing we get is the filter. So we can filter by the type of contact in question. So we've got owners and landlords, potential owners and landlords, so people who are having an appraisal done on their property, applicants, filter specifically by hot applicants, and third-party contacts. So third-party contacts is anyone you have a business relationship with, such as solicitors or board contractors or maintenance people. If we click into a applicant in this case, you'll see that it's laid out similarly to the property, where we have the title, the tabs, and then as we change through these tabs, the details below will change, and then the actions panel on the right. The contact details tab will appear for everybody, as will relationships, but the others might change based on what type of contact they are. So a third-party contact, for example, wouldn't have viewings or tenancies, etc. The first field is the title. So this is how we name the person internally in the system. So that might be Michael Ward, it might be Mr. and Mrs. John Hargreaves or something. So this is how we recognize them in the system. First tab, contact details. This is their address, their contact details, telephone number, email address. You can have multiple email addresses if it's a Mr. and a Mrs. maybe. Or friends, you can comma delimit them there and have multiple. Do not contact via. If when we send out emails to people, there is an unsubscribe link in the footer. So if people choose to unsubscribe from an email, that would automatically tick do not contact via email. Any additional contact notes, you can see there we've got an example of what time to contact them, and then a dear field, so like a salutation field. So there are places in Property Hive, if you're using it as a CRM, where you can send emails or generate documents, in which case that's where we would use dear, which can be a bit more formal as opposed to their name that you're using internally. The last field is solicitor. So if you are going to be using Property Hive as a CRM and tracking offers and sales, this is their solicitor. So as soon as you go through to the offer stage, it would pull in their solicitor by default, but you can customize that when you get to that stage as well. The next tab is the key one here, and this is their relationships. So the areas of their life or what they're looking for. So you can see this person is a lettings applicant. They've got a blank profile there, which was just from a test earlier, and new third-party contact as an example. So this is just test data, but this demonstrates how someone can have multiple relationships against them. If we look at the lettings applicant profile they've got, you can see that in here is their criteria or what properties they're looking for. So what they're sales, lettings, or commercial. And as you'll see, as we toggle these, it changes the fields below to be relevant to what's ticked. So sales, you get price; lettings, you get rent; commercial, you get floor area. Now, one thing to note on sales is not only can you enter a maximum price, but that will also generate a match price. The reason for that is you don't want to match them to properties that are, in this case, 100,000, right? That's not going to be applicable. So that's why we set the minimum match price range. Likewise, people can normally, if the perfect property came along, probably stretch their budget a little bit more. So in the settings area, you can set these percentages above and below the defaults. And what that means is when we come to match them to properties, it will take this range into account as opposed to just the maximum price they've specified. You can delete the relationship. So in this one here, for example, that's just a test one, so I will delete that. So that's now gone. With the third-party contact, you just select the categories. So we've got a feature that does board management. And what that would do is when you come to select the contractor, pull in all people that have a third-party contact category of board contractor. Similarly to solicitor, so the field we looked at earlier down the bottom, that will just pull in people that have solicitor as the category. That just says pulling in all plumbers and everything into that field. You'll notice there's, similarly to a property, the extra tabs along the top. So viewings, tenancies, inquiries. And like I say, this will change based on what kind of relationships they have on them. This person is a lettings applicant. So as a result, they've been on some viewings, which we can see there. They've been part of some tenancies, which we can see there. If they've made some inquiries, we can see them there. And then any additional history and notes. So these could be manually typed notes, which you can pin again to the top, or this will also show mail outs. So if you are sending the mail outs through Property Hive, this will show a log of all the mail outs that have been sent, how many properties were included. You can click into the mail out to see exactly what they received. And like I say, that will contain an unsubscribe link as well down the bottom. Then the only final thing to note is this actions panel here. So similar to a property, the actions we have on a contact record is record inquiry, book a viewing, or you can create them a user login. So if you want them to be able to log in through the front end of your website to manage their details, manage their requirements, save properties, save searches, you can create them a user login, which will enable them to do that through the front end.